Hey y'all, this is Tamika, the face behind HR. So many times we know how to do interviews, but we aren't good at being interviewed. So if you're a seasoned HR professional like myself, then you do interviews all the time. So it may be something where you can just interview anybody in any second, but probably get a little worried when it's time for you to get interviewed. Or on the other hand, you are someone who is trying to start your HR career and you're a little bit confused on like, how should I be prepared for an interview for HR position? It's no different than anything else, but I'm gonna give you guys a few cues. So if you wanna know how to prepare for an interview as an HR professional or to be an HR professional, then you definitely wanna keep on watching. Now, the first things first, y'all, I'm almost scared to say this because I know that I have so many people that I've been in contact with and they overread this. But read the job description. Don't read it to go rush down to the bottom of it where it says minimum qualifications and say, okay, I can do that. No, honey, don't worry about that. But I want you to sit down and dissect that job description. So many times I get clients who do calls with me and we read a job description together and the title literally just doesn't match the job description. It's scary. We get excited about a title thinking we're going to do a particular job, but if we want to read that job description, we're probably doing something all the way different. An example I can give you is if you are an analyst, if you are applying for a job as an analyst, if you don't see anywhere in that job description where it says pull data from the system, analyze this data, look at trends, set metrics, compare and analyze, do a SWOT analysis. If you're not looking at data, but you're doing process, you're interacting with employees, you're doing policies, like, listen, that's not an analyst job. Like, I don't want you to read it to see if you're a fit. See if the job duties is a fit for the title. I've done so many videos breaking down what each job is in HR. I'll post as many of them as I can down in the description box, but what I will do is I'll definitely put the playlist there. You watch those videos, you know what that job should expect. So when you look at that job description, if it don't look right, listen, you might not want to apply, or you want to prepare yourself that you're going to do something different than what that job title says. So read the job description. Now, if it matches and you're like, okay, cool, let me go ahead and do this interview, then guess what? You need to go through and highlight the areas that you may be a little bit confused about or that you want more clarity on. Me personally, I'll highlight acronyms. Like, and the acronym wasn't spelled out. I want to make sure that I have the right acronym. Another thing that I'll do is I'll highlight the systems that they use so I can make sure to like verify that's the system they use, or that I won't forget that when I'm answering questions, because if I've used that system before, then I definitely want to relate to that system, because that will just tell them that I'm a great person for the position. And another thing is that you want to prepare some questions that's going to help you validate the day-to-day duties of that job. So many times I see job descriptions, or I see hiring managers, they create job descriptions or they add in details, and this person come in and do something all the way different from what the damn job description says. So what you want to do is make sure that you read that job description enough so that you can create questions that tailor to the day-to-day duties of that job, or that they're giving you things that relate to the day-to-day duties, so that you can verify that what they're interviewing you for is truly what you've applied to. Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to research the company. I know it gets so confusing, like, Tamika, what does that mean? How do I research the company? Listen, Glassdoor is a great way. I take Glassdoor a little bit differently because I've worked in HR side of Glassdoor so often, and I've seen employees who really wasn't a good fit, really killed the culture, or didn't get what they wanted, and they go to Glassdoor and they blast the company, and I'm like, but you've worked here for 15 years and you loved it except the last 2 weeks. So it can be construed a little bit differently. There are a lot of people that go there and give good positive feedback. There are a lot of people that go there and just give their input. It could be a mixture of good and negative, but that's one way that you can start to kind of get a view of that company. Go to that company's LinkedIn page. You could do a hashtag in LinkedIn and see what comes up. Is that company having employees who are talking about it on a regular? Who all works there? Is there anybody you may know already? Go and do a literal Google search. See if that company has ever been brought before the Better Business Bureau. See if they have any lawsuits. Like, you can just literally do a Google search and see what comes up. Another thing that you can do is that you can go to like that company's website and you can start seeing what are they posting, anything culture related, is it all hitting on sales, is it Who is the website targeted to? Do they have a dedicated job search or career page that really tells me a lot about this job? You want to do research to make sure that you know a little bit more about this company than what you knew before you interviewed with them. And you want to see if there's anything in that research that you find that you probably want to bring attention to. I will tell you, stay away from bringing negative information. I've had employees who brought up, like at past companies I've worked at, they've brought up like, oh, well, I know you guys were bankrupt. Nobody wants to be reminded of bad things, and maybe that recruiter just started and didn't even know the company was bankrupt before. Bring up positive things or bring up questions that hit to clarify things for you, but not a good taste when you bring up bad things and you really want the job. And one thing that you really want to do before I go to your final topic or your final tip, I definitely want you to, if you have the name of the person who's interviewing you, then you definitely want to look at that person's LinkedIn profile. It's not a bad idea, guys. It's not a bad idea. That person may want to connect with you. That person may inbox with you. That person may not. Don't take it as a good way or a bad way. A lot of times if you have a ton of candidates, hiring managers stay away from that because the water is too murky. It's not clear. We don't know who we're going to pick. So I don't want to get your hopes up. They leave that to HR so that we don't get like sued. We kind of protect the company in that aspect. So don't look at it as a good thing or a bad thing. If they reply back and they interact with you, I would definitely look at that as a good thing. Now, the last thing that I want you to do as an HR professional preparing for an interview is prepare culture-related questions. It's not a bad idea to ask those people who are interviewing you if they get to the end and they're like, you got any questions? Yes. Tell me what brings you into work every day. Tell me the things you're most proud of with your position or with this organization. Tell me something that you think has been the highlight of your career since being here. Y'all, if they don't have nothing good to say, that tells you about the culture. If they flooding you with stuff, they can't stop talking about it and laughing and don't you remember this and da-da-da. That's telling you what kind of culture they have, okay? And lastly, this is also a good way to bring out like the day-to-day of that job. So this isn't a good way to bring out culture and to verify that job description is ask them, hey, what's the day in the life of for this position? What are the biggest goals that you want this company to achieve or this person in this position to achieve in this role? What drove you to have this vacancy? Like, there's so many ways you can head in a culture and get out what you need to help you make that decision. You definitely don't want to get through like multiple interviews and multiple companies and then not know how to kind of break them apart. So make notes as you go through. You could do it in the interview. It's not a bad idea to wait until after the interview is over so you can have this information to help you decide, because you don't know that you might get down to the point where you got so many job offers, they all look amazing. Now I need a tiebreaker, like which one do I want to accept? So pay attention to those things. Now, if you're going into an interview, if you're conducting an interview or anything, I have some amazing interview questions that can definitely help you with the interview. This is for an HR professional. This is for someone who's going for HR job opening or a job interview. It's very good questions, y'all, like really good questions. Not only are they good questions, but I also tell you why a company would ask these questions. Like, what are they trying to pull out of the candidate? And then with these questions, I also tell you exactly what the answer should be to make sure that they're hitting on good fit for the company. So if you want those questions, hit the link down below. You can immediately get it emailed to you. It's about 2 pages full of just questions and answers to go with them. So if you are new, I hope that you found value in this video. If you are returning, I thank you so much for returning. Y'all, I can't wait to see y'all on the next video.